Have you ever wondered how different your life would look today if you had said yes to yourself a little sooner? What opportunities have you talked yourself out of because you believed you weren't ready? How many dreams are still sitting in your notebook? Not because you lack talent, but because fear convinced you to wait? One of the saddest things I see is not women who lack potential. It is women with extraordinary gifts who spend years hiding them. They hide behind perfection. They hide behind self-doubt. They hide behind the opinions of people who were never going to support them anyway. And while they're waiting for the perfect moment, life quietly keeps moving. Maybe you've been thinking about starting that business. Maybe you've been planning to create content. Maybe you've wanted to apply for a leadership, launch your fashion brand, go back to school, write a book, or simply become more visible in your industry. But every time you're about to begin, another voice interrupts. What if nobody notices? What if people think I'm trying too hard? So instead of taking one step forward, you take another step back. Here's something I've learned. The life you desire will almost always require a version of you that is willing to be seen. You cannot build meaningful relationships if no one knows you exist. You cannot attract opportunities if no one knows what you're capable of. You cannot make an impact if your gifts remain hidden. Visibility is not about seeking attention. It is about refusing to bury what you've been trusted with. Many women confuse humility with shrinking themselves. Humility isn't pretending you're less gifted than you are. Another reason many women remain invisible is comparison. We scroll through carefully curated lives. We assume they woke up confident. We assume success came naturally. But true elegance is a choice. But what we often don't see are the sleepless nights, the uncomfortable beginnings, the failed attempts, the mom wanted to quit but chose to continue anyway. Every woman you admire was once unknown. Every successful brand had a first customer. Growth has never required perfection. Every confident woman has experienced insecurity. I once spoke to an empty room. It has always required courage. Let's also talk about rejection. Many women never introduce themselves because they're afraid of being ignored. They never pitch their ideas because they're afraid of hearing no. They never share their work because they're afraid of criticism. Sometimes it is preparing you. Sometimes it is refining you. And sometimes it is teaching you that your value, your self-worth should never be determined by someone else's opinion. Here's a question I want you to sit with today. If fear was removed from the equation, what would you finally have the courage to do? Would you finally start posting your work? Would you finally wear what reflects your confidence? Would you finally introduce yourself to rooms you've always believed were beyond your reach? Then perhaps the real obstacle isn't opportunity. Perhaps it's permission. And maybe the permission you've been waiting for has always been yours to give. Lily dolls, the world does not need another talented woman hiding behind excuses. It needs women who are willing to grow publicly. Women who understand that confidence isn't something you find before you begin. It is something you build because you begin. So today, I want to challenge you. Choose one action, not 10, just one. Send the email. You have to step up and record the video. Register the business and attend the event. Always apply for the opportunity. Because every remarkable journey begins with a woman who decided that fear would no longer make her decisions. Remember this. Your dreams cannot introduce themselves. Your gifts cannot represent themselves. Your purpose cannot speak if you remain silent. At some point, you have to show up. You have to let your work be seen. You have to let your voice be heard. And when you do, don't aim to be the loudest woman in the room. Aim to be the woman whose presence, excellence, and authenticity speak long after she has left. This is Lilyasia Lifestyle, where we don't just admire the woman we dream of becoming, we become her.